Hello, fellow Planeswalkers, and welcome back to Advent Commander, where I'm building a 100-card Commander deck for Magic Sealed Product. And today's pack is Upside Down, Modern Horizons. So let's get right into this pack. Alright. My first card is Trustworthy Scout. Then Quakefoot Cyclops, Chiller Pillar, Twin Silk Spider, Unearth, Manowar, Segovian Angel, Murasa Behemoth, Fountain of Ichor, or Ichor, I guess, Arkham's Astrolabe, Hollowhead Sliver, a favorite creature of mine, Carrion Feeder, Goblin Matron, a Collected Conjuring, and a Snow-Covered Mountain. Okay, so going through the pack, there are a couple of things that I like in this pack. Starting off were the Unearth and the Manowar. Unearth we've seen already, but Manowar is a 2/2 for a blue and 2 generic, and when it enters the battlefield, you return target creature to its owner's hand. So it's pretty good, just kind of tempo gaming your opponent. The two artifacts, Fountain of Ichor and Arkham's Astrolabe, are both pretty good. The Fountain is a 3 generic mana rock that can produce a mana of any color, but you can also pay 3 and make it a 3/3 dinosaur artifact creature until end of turn. The Astrolabe is an interesting artifact. It is a snow artifact, and it costs 1 snow mana. And when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card, and then you can pay a generic and add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. And since it's a snow artifact, that mana counts as snow mana no matter what color it is. There's always the Carrion Feeder. It's a 1/1 for a single black for a zombie. It can't block, but it can sacrifice any creature to put a +1/+1 counter on Carrion Feeder. One of the good tricky things to do with this creature, well, there's 2 really interesting tricks that I've found out for it. The first one is people forget that it can't block. So if you get it up to a 4/4 or a 5/5 and then you just don't attack with it, people will forget that first line of text. They will see that you have a 5/5 and not want to attack into it because they'll just assume that they'll lose in combat. The next best thing about it is you can sacrifice itself to its own ability, which is something they don't really do anymore. A lot of times, if the creature's ability doesn't make sense for it to sacrifice itself, it can't sacrifice itself anymore. So there would be no reason to sacrifice a Carrion Feeder because it would never get the +1/+1 counter. So the good trick is if your opponent targets it with some kind of removal, and that's its only that's its only target, but they get some bonus effect, you can counter the entire spell by just sacrificing the Carrion Feeder. But with all that said, we have an interesting sorcery in the pack, and this is one I kind of want to take it for a spin, especially in this type of deck. So for 2 generic, a blue and a red, we get a sorcery that says exile the top 6 cards of your library. You may cast up to 2 sorcery cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from among them without paying their mana costs. Put the exiled cards not cast this way on the bottom of your library in a random order. So what this does is makes me actually focus on a deck type now. So I'm going to be starting to look at my sorceries a little bit higher, especially ones that cost 3 or less, and just kind of trying to pull together something. So I think I'm implying that this is my pick for my pack, the Collected Conjuring. And like I said, this should put me into a more direct line of drafting. I was already kind of going this way with the Tamiyo and with the Renin 6, just kind of trying to play this type of game. And actually, this will work really well with Renin 6 if I can get it to a point where I can retrace it from my graveyard. So that's what I'm taking, the Collected Conjuring. Thanks for joining me, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow with another pack and another pick. See you then.